You know what's on my mind? Virtue signaling. Here on my daily thought bubble. Now, if you don't know what virtue signaling is or you're not sure of the definition, stick around because you might be doing it and you're not even aware you're doing it. So let's start with the definition. Virtue signaling is the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or the moral correctness of one's position on a particular issue. So, this came to my mind because I remembered an incident where I was on my group chat and somebody there brought up that there was somebody that we know that needed help. And they gave the account number and so people can donate. So one of the people on the group chat said that how about we pool everyone's money together and then we make one big donation. And then they even said, that person even said, let's say for example, let's say there's 10 of us in the group. And the person said, let's give 1 million pesos and let's divide it na lang among the 10 of us. So that's 100,000 pesos each. Now the others did not reply. And some were like sheepishly saying, okay. And I just said, that's a little bit presumptuous. Because that person, by doing that, they're actually virtue signaling. Why? Because they're trying to show that they're generous, that they're magnanimous, and that they have money. Inadvertently. Now, I know that this person didn't do it intentionally. A lot of times when people are virtue signaling, I think it's an unconscious behavior or it's something that they're not aware that they're doing. So I never take offense to that, nor do I get mad at them for doing that because I don't think they do it intentionally. But it did make other people feel uncomfortable because what that person also did by making that suggestion is now putting the onus on everyone to step up to the plate without knowing what everyone's financial capacity is and assuming that everyone is of the same financial capacity. If you're one of those people in the group, you'd feel really bad if you said you couldn't afford to give that much or you didn't want to give that much, regardless of whatever your reason is. I don't think anyone has the right to make suggestions like that because that's kind of like an imposition on the amount that everyone should give. And by that person doing that, that person's pretty much saying that I have the money, I'm generous, I'm magnanimous, and I can afford to give it inadvertently. So I called them out on it. I said, hey, you know what? Not everyone is of the same financial capacity as you. And I think that is presumptuous and puts a lot of pressure on others that may not be able to afford to give as much as you do. The better way of doing it. So if I were to try to suggest, and the right way of doing it, okay, so in case you guys come across the situation, is not to offer an amount that everyone should share. No. The right thing to do is the bank account was there and all the details you need are there. If you're that generous that you really want to give that much, then just give. You don't need to announce to everyone how much you're going to give. Just give. If you're really that generous, that magnanimous, that rich, why don't you give the whole amount? Give the 1 million and don't tell anyone about it. And don't put the pressure on everyone else to contribute on your suggestion. That's virtue signaling. That is a clear example of virtue signaling, among many other examples. But I wanted to point that out because people tend to do this, where they say, oh, I don't mind because I like being generous. I like helping people. Well, you like helping people because probably you can afford it, but some people need help. They're not in a position to help like you are. So for you to say that, trust me, you're virtue signaling. You're trying to show that you can afford it and you're trying to show that you're generous enough to give it. If you were really generous, you wouldn't have to bring it up. If it's really coming from a good place, you would just do it. Tip. Give money. Donate. You don't have to announce to people you're going to donate. It happened to me several times in several of my group chats. And I just said to everyone, if you're going to give. Why do you have to announce it? Just give. Why do you have to pool it? I just give. I have the account number. I just send them the money right away. I don't tell other people I sent money. I don't have to tell people how much I sent or that I did. I don't have a need to fulfill my ego so that people know that I gave. It already feels good giving. I'm just happy to be able to help. And that's how it should be. So if you've done this in the past, please stop doing it. Now, I know some of you are going to say, but yeah, they were just suggesting. Sure, you're just suggesting. But when you make a suggestion like that, you're placing a number where you're not even sure where everyone else is coming from. You don't even suggest that. I'll give you another example of virtue signaling. So this person goes, we were looking for suggestions on where to go for drinks. And somebody suddenly said, let's go to this place. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. So we're like, okay, they suggested a very expensive place and they said they'll take care of it. And I'm thinking, okay, so we went there. When we got there, this person just started ordering the most expensive things without asking other people what they wanted to drink. Then everyone's like, okay, he just ordered. Didn't even ask us what we wanted and just ordered. Okay. And when we were drinking away at the end of the night, the bill came. And then this person divided the bill amongst all of us. He said, okay, everyone, you owe 2,000 each or 4,000 each or whatever. That's virtue signaling. Not even virtue signaling. That's bragging already. You're bragging. Virtue signaling in a way where you're trying to show to the people that own the place that, oh, yes, I'm a VIP. I'm important. I have a lot of money. Yet you ask the money from everyone else. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to get at when I gave you the example earlier of people that ask for donations and then say an amount. I actually prefer my other group. I have a group chat with my batchmates. These guys are the most generous people in the world. And it's impressive for me, honestly. And the way they do it is they say, hey guys, we need to be able to raise funds for this activity or that activity. Whatever you can donate, please do. And you can put your name if you want. You don't have to. And I like that. And everyone's comfortable putting how much they want to put. And if they can't put any, don't. It's okay. But nobody sets the price or the bar that everyone has to live up to. And yet we're able to raise so much money. I mean, my batch impresses me so much when they do this. It's incredible. And I know we're all of different financial capacities, yet there's no pressure on anyone to put the money. They don't say divide it equally. They just say put whatever you can. And that's how it should be. So when you're in that situation, I hope that if somebody does that, you call them out. And if you're doing it, stop doing it. And just donate what you can. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to tell everyone to give the same amount. And just go with that. And that's what's on my mind today. This is Chris Tan, and that's my daily thought bubble. Thanks for listening, everyone. What do you guys think of virtue signaling? Do you agree with my point or disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. See you guys in the next episode.